Hello, my name is Guy Freaker, and I'm the Chief Innovation Officer for Insurance Thought Leadership and Innovator's Edge. And I've got the great pleasure this afternoon of sitting here with Zia Zaman, who is the Chief Innovation Officer for MetLife and the founding CEO of their innovation lab, LumenLab. Did I get that right?
Yeah, that's right.
All right. And we are at InsurTech Connect, and you all have had some announcements this week, right?
Yeah, we certainly have. I love being here. I just want to thank Jay and the ITC crowd for having us here. In fact, it's our third time here. First time we talked a little bit about health.
Oh, yeah.
The second time we had a chance to put some VR goggles on people and introduce to VR for the first time in life insurance. And today we got something interesting around blockchain.
So in this, I think there's a lot of confusion around blockchain in terms of whether it's a what technology or a how-to. And you all have taken a really interesting approach, I think, to looking at blockchain as a partial solution in a customer journey. Do you want to share some more with us about that?
Yeah, that'd be great. So we chose a particular customer journey, and that's pregnancy. And it's because it has a beginning and an end. It can never be more than 10 months. So what we decided to do is to try to serve the needs of Alice. Alice is first-time mother, she's pregnant, and she finds out week 5 of her pregnancy from her doctor, hooray, you're pregnant. There are some concerns and things you have to worry about, including gestational diabetes. In fact, 1 out of 5 of the women, expectant women in Singapore, are at risk of getting gestational diabetes. And therefore, you need to be concerned about it. At that particular moment in time, the clinician can offer her an insurance product offered by MetLife, right there on her phone in an app, which will basically ask for 2 or 3 underwriting questions, and within minutes, give her coverage for 99 Sing dollars, which is about 60 bucks, that would cover her for her pregnancy. Now let's fast forward to week 25. That's basically when she takes an OGTT test to basically figure out whether or not she has diabetes. The clinician will register the test result onto the blockchain. Just think of it like a 0 or a 1. If it's 0, hooray, Alice is fine, nothing happens.
Sure.
If it's a 1, then the smart contract feature of the distributed ledger basically executes that part of the contract. Guess what happens? We know her bank account details at the point of purchase, and we can deliver her the $500 benefit without any claim. So that's why we think that this is the world's first health insurance product which is claimless, delivered over blockchain.
So what you're establishing in a wonderful market that needs it is basically the equivalent of a parametric trigger.
That's right.
And a cashless process and a claimless process.
Yeah,
it's
I mean,
automatic.
there are 4 great angles to think about this particular experiment, right? The
How
first
wonderful.
the first is around what you said around claimless. So all the marketing or customer experience people get excited about the fact that, oh wow, there's no claim moment, there's more of a payout, so it reduces friction. That's the first thing. The second is the concept around blockchain, of course. It's a great use case for distributed ledger technology in the enterprise. And that's getting everybody excited. In fact, I'm going to go talk to the IMF World Bank World Meeting in Bali next week, just about blockchain. The third angle, which is what you described, is parametric, right? This is a parametric product. If this happens, then yield this result. And the reason that's super interesting for me is that it opens up whole new sets of risk pools that didn't necessarily have cover today. So we have all the stuff that we're covering today in terms of risk, but it's the new risk pools that can get built relatively quickly whenever you could find a parametric trigger. Like for example, IVF, or product recalls, or maybe around cancer. And so we are thinking about reusing InsurChain for other parametrics to open up more risk pools. So I call that sort of the inclusion angle. For women in need, you can include them more in risk products. And the fourth angle that makes this kind of interesting is the fact that this is in the regulatory sandbox in Singapore. It's a great example of a public-private partnership because rather than operating within the confines of an insurance license, the Monetary Authority of Singapore has partnered with us to allow us to operate in a sandbox.
Well, so we often say that the best innovations become platforms for additional innovation.
Right.
And really what you're talking about is discovering an efficiency gain that has to be significant with combined ratio and how you're forecasting the premiums and the claims experience on that product. Is that true?
Yeah, there are 2 huge sets of benefits. The first is the experience. It's significantly frictionless and therefore it's a lot easier and better for the customer. So that's the one benefit. But there's a whole lot less cost associated with this, right? No audit and reconciliation. There's no claim moment. There's no adversarial relationship. you can just potentially imagine that if we were to implement this for future products, it reduces tremendously the potential cost basis for doing this. And that's the big benefit category.
Well, and you're setting up defined triggers, so the reduction, I mean, there just can't be many of the same concerns that have plagued health insurance in the past around fraud and other expenses, correct?
Right, and all types of insurance, right?
Sure.
Since the 1850s, the insurance industry has been in this position where it needs some proof from the user that you broke your leg or that something has happened, and there was no way that we could have known, right? Now, in 2022 and 2025, I'm not sure when it will occur, things might change such that the insurer will know or ought to know because you posted on social media that you've broken your leg and that there's other triggers, other incontrovertible data sets and data points that could act as a trigger for us to say, well, we know, and therefore we'll just pay. And that, to me, is the future of what makes this really powerful, is that it could trigger a whole lot more interesting and simple insurance products.
Oh, absolutely. And so we're here at InsurTech Connect. There's this massive amount of energy, all these participants. Are there other things you would like to share about what's going on and what you're doing with LumenLab?
Yeah, the big announcement we made earlier today wasn't just about Vitana, the gestational diabetes cover.
Right.
We said that it was more like a trailer for a movie, that very soon we're going to do this for life insurance. We signed an MOU with an actual insurer, and for the first time, an actual life insurance claim, death benefit, will be paid in a claimless manner. And so stay tuned for that. That's something that we're happy to announce is going to happen soon. So Guy, the things that I wanted to talk about, there's two other things that we're doing that's kind of cool.
Yeah, sure.
The first is Collab. Collab is our corporate startup engagement program. And it's something that we've now run 3 times, first in Asia, then in Japan, and then in London just this year. The 4th one's going to run in Tokyo this December. What is it? It's a corporate startup matchmaking program. We find things in our business that are challenges with known business owners and known budgets. We publish these challenges on the Collab website, and we invite the insurtechs to apply. Insurtechs like the ones here in Vegas. We've had basically hundreds of applications, 500 different insurtechs that have applied, 536 to be accurate. And what happens is we create a group of 8 finalists, and we match them with individuals within the company, and we figure out if there's problem solution fit. Then we hand out POCs of about $100,000 to get these things implemented. We've had 7 winners so far across the first 3 batches, and we want to run this again and again, 2 or 3 times a year across the world. So that's one of the things that we do.
You know, what's really exciting about that is in the work that we do with coaching companies around innovation, so many times they'll discover something really worth pursuing, get it out into the market, get great feedback, and then hit this wall when it comes time to scale.
Yep.
And in what I'm hearing you say is, in this case, for a lot of the internal work, you have found a methodology that systematically accelerates adoption and deployment. Is that inaccurate?
That's great, Guy. I mean, I think you picked up on it. So the 3 things that we do, the one thing is around building stuff like the Vitana platform. The second is partnering through the ecosystem. But the third might be the most crucial, the most elemental to our eventual TSR, our total shareholder returns. And that is shifting the mindset. Changing the mindset of how we work, using test and learns, using design thinking techniques, really becoming more agile. In fact, we emphasize behaviors over tools. And the 5 behaviors that we think are super important in our industry are curiosity, expansivity, experimentality, velocity, and bravery. And so by shifting that mindset to be more open, to have more of a growth mindset, what we're really doing is laying the foundation you just mentioned for change to occur, to be more open to the insurtech startup that you're going to introduce to me next, to be more open to the new ways of working like blockchain. But without that really important shift in our mindset, we as incumbents aren't going to get there. And that's one of the big things we're working on. And
so by doing the vetting and narrowing it down in the matchmaking, you're essentially bringing solutions faster than an old incumbent culture can say no to.
We hope so. I think the incumbents are starting to learn and help us figure out what's really going to benefit the business. It's across the portfolio, and just really simply, there are things that we could do right now that are going to improve the core business, and we've got a bunch of teams in our tech organization that are going to work on that. The differentiating and eventually the disruptive stuff are things that LumenLab are working on today.
Well, we really appreciate you taking a few minutes to share this with us and sit down and have this conversation. We have been on panels together in the past. I always enjoy your company, and thank you very
Thanks
much
so much,
for
Guy.
sharing with us.
All right, you take care.
You bet. Bye.